Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Text 62. Yatra Spatika Kudyeshu
Yatra spatika kutyeshu
Mahamarakateshu cha
Mahārakateshu cha
Mani Pradipa Abhanti
Mani
Mani
Pradipa
Anti
Anti
Lalana Ratna Samyutaha.
Lana
Lalana Ratna
Samyutta.
Samayutta.
The palace of the king was surrounded by walls made of marble, with many engravings made of valuable jewels like sapphires, which depicted beautiful women with shining jewel lamps in their hands. The description of King Uttanpad's palace depicts the state of affairs many hundreds and thousands of years ago, long before Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled. So yeah, this is in Satyug. And Srimad Bhagavatam was 5,000 years ago. Since it is described that Mahārāja Dhruva ruled for 36,000 years, he must have lived in the Satyug, where people lived for 100,000 years. The life durations in the 4 yugas are also mentioned in the Vedic literature. Does anyone remember the age in Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga?
Satyug is 100,000, then the second one is 10,000, then 1,000, and then Kali Yuga is 100 years.
Yeah, that's right. In Treta Yuga, it is 10,000, Dwapara Yuga, live for 1,000, and in Kali Yuga, may live up to 100 years. With the progressive advance of each new yuga, the duration of human life is reduced by 90%, from 100,000 to 10,000, from 10,000 to 1,000, and from 1,000 to 100. So we see 90% is being reduced with each age. Not 10% is reduced, 90%. It is said that Dhruva Maharaj was the great-grandson of Lord Brahma. This indicates that Dhruva Maharaj's time was in the Satyug, in the beginning of creation. During one day of Lord Brahma, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are many Satyugs, according to the Vedic calculation. At the present moment, the 28th millennium is current. So Dhruva Maharaj, he is the great-grandson of Lord Brahma. So means it's really in the beginning. Really in the beginning of creation. Now, Prabhupada is pointing out that in one day of Brahma, there are many, many Satyugs that come. Does anyone remember how many?
74, is it?
1,000.
Oh,
There's
sorry.
1,000 Chaturyugas that come. 1,000 Satyug, 1,000
Dwapar.
Dwapar, 1,000 Treta, and 1,000 Kalyug.
So what was 74? Is it the 74 was the one in one, there is 74? Is it like that?
70, there is 14 Manus.
Okay,
And in
yeah.
each Manu rules for, so 1,000 divided by 14. So each Manu rules for 71 of these Chaturyugas.
Okay. Manu rules for 71. Okay.
Each Manu, there's 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. Manus keep changing.
Okay.
Okay, and then at the present moment, the 28th millennium is current. So each Manu rules for 71, right? So right now, we are in the middle of that rule of the Manu, 28.
So we are in the Vivas. No, we are in the Manu's name is the one we are there.
Vaivasta, right? I think so.
Yeah. Vivas. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So we are in the middle.
Yeah, it's almost in the middle.
Okay.
So our Brahmaji is like middle-aged right now. Also.
So the Swayambhuva Manu much before, right?
He was much before.
Oh, no? Right.
Yeah, Swayambhuva Manu was at the beginning of creation. He is Swayambhuva Manu's son is Maharaj Uttanpad. Uttanpad's son is Dhruva Maharaj. So that's like really at the beginning of creation.
Yeah. And I think Satyug is 172,800 years. 100.
Satyug is 1,726,000 years.
28. Okay. Yeah. 1
Yeah,
million.
that's Satyug. 1,726,000. Yes.
And Treta Yuga is 1,296,000.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. Just going through my book.
Yeah. And then Dwapara Yuga is 800 some thousand years. And then Kali Yuga is 432,000.
Right.
So it can be calculated that Dhruva Maharaj lived many millions of years ago. But the description of the palace of Dhruva's father is so glorious that we cannot accept that advanced human civilization did not exist even 40 or 50,000 years ago. Because many people say, no, right now the human society is the most evolved, is the most advanced. In the earlier ages, it was just Stone Age or apes or jungle people. But no, from the scriptures we can see that in fact, before, human society was very advanced. There were walls like those in the palace of Maharaj Uttanpad, even very recently during the Mughal period. Anyone who has seen the Red Fort in Delhi must have marked that the walls are made of marble and were once decorated with jewels. During the British period, all these jewels were taken away and dispatched to the British Museum. So until recently, also India had this valuable jewels and walls made of marble and jewels. The conception of worldly opulence was formerly based mainly on natural resources such as jewels, marble, ivory, silk, gold, and silver. The advancement of economic development was not based on big motor cars. Advancement of human civilization depends not on industrial enterprises, but on possession of natural wealth and natural food, which is all supplied by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that we may save time for self-realization and success in the human form of body. So we can see how it's become totally different now, our opulence and before opulence. With the advancement of economic development, natural food and natural wealth is in fact getting so much less and lesser as time passes by. Everything has become paper or internet. Food also is, you cannot get much natural food, rarely. And so as we are turning away from God, we can see that the natural resources are also disappearing. Another aspect of this verse is that Dhruva Maharaj's father, Uttanpad, would very soon give up attachment for his palaces and would go to the forest for self-realization. Anaprast. The kings used to do that. Many of the kings, the righteous kings, they would not stay in power till the day they die, but after they have someone suitable to take care of the kingdom, they would hand over the kingdom, go to the forest for what? For self-realization. From the description of Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, we can make a very thorough comparative study of modern civilization and the civilization of mankind in the other millenniums, Satyug, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga. So we can see how society was back then and how society is now. Udyanani cha ramyani
Udyanani cha ramyani
vichitrer amaradrumahe
vichitre amaradrumahe
kujat vihanga mithuner
kujat vihangan mithuner
gayan mata madhuvratahe.
Gyayan matha madhurathe.
The king's residence was surrounded by gardens wherein there were varieties of trees brought from the heavenly planets. In those trees, there were pairs of sweetly singing birds and almost mad bumblebees, which made a very relishable buzzing sound. In this verse, the word Amara Dhrume with trees brought from the heavenly planets is very significant. I don't know if we have trees anymore here on the Earth planet which are coming from the heavenly planets. I really don't know. But at that time there were. And also until 5,000 years ago, Krishna had gone to Indralok and he got the Parijat tree for Satyabhama from there. So heavenly planets are known as Amarlok, the planets where death is very much delayed because the people live over there, the people live for 10,000 years according to the calculations of the demigods, in which our 6 months are equal to 1 day. So why is it called Amarlok, the heavenly planets? Why? Because people live for a very long time. It's not that they are really Amar. It's not that they are really never going to die there. But according to human calculation, they live for a very long time. Our 6 months is equal to one of them, to 1 day only. And they live for 10,000 of their years, demigods' years. So according to human beings, it's a long time. The demigods live in the heavenly planets for months, years, and 10,000s of years according to demigod time. And then again, after the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down to this earth. These are the statements that can be collected from Vedic literature. So all the Vedas say that. You can go up to the demigods, live there for 10,000 years of demigods, and once the pious activities is finished, then come back to the earth. Once the money is finished, when we go for holiday, then we come back to work. You earn more. So then this is what it is. So these are okay, as people live there for 10,000 years, so also do the trees. Of course, here on this earth, there are many trees which live for 10,000 years. So what to speak of the trees on the heavenly planets? They must live for more than many 10,000s of years. And sometimes, as practiced even now, some valuable trees are taken from one place to another. So there are trees also in the heavenly planets. It's not that it's all empty or there's just dust. No, they are heavenly trees which live for a very long time. It is elsewhere stated that when Lord Krishna went to the heavenly planets with his wife Satyabhama, he took a Parijat flower tree from heaven and brought it to the earth. There was a fight between Krishna and the demigods due to the Parijat's trees being taken from heaven to this planet. The Parijat was planted in the palace of Lord Krishna, which was occupied by Queen Satyabhama. The flower and fruit trees in the heavenly planets are superior, for they are very pleasant and tasteful, and it appears that in the palace of Mahārāja Uttanapad, there were many varieties of such trees. So if one wants to have much more relishable fruits and flowers and trees that are available, more relishable than the planet Earth, can go up to these heavenly planets to relish more of this natural beauty. But even if we go up to there, we can stay there only for a very short time. We still have to die. Well, according to human calculation, it can be a long time, but we'll still have to come back to the earth. So then this Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he says, you come to my abode. Come to my abode, and from there we never need to come back again to this material world. And Lord Brahma says in Brahma Samhita that Krishna's abode is filled with Kalpa Vriksha, desire, wish-fulfilling trees. They're spiritual trees in the spiritual world. Just as these trees here in the heavenly planets are more relishable than what we have on earth, similarly, there are trees also in the spiritual world, and those are spiritual trees. So we should aspire to go to the spiritual world, to Krishna Loka. somehow or the other we should try to get the desire that, oh, even I want to go to Krishna Loka. I also want to see how beautiful it is. How beautiful the palace. Now, such a beautiful description of the palace of Mahārāja Uttanapad is given. And then, so how much more beautiful would be the palaces in Golok Vrindavan, in the spiritual world? Vapyo Vaidurya Sopanaha.
Vapyo Vaidurya Sopanaha
Padmotpala Kumudpatihi.
Padpala Kumudvatihi
Hamsa Karandava Kuler.
Hamsa Karandava Kuler
Justas Chakrabhava Sarase.
Jastas Chakrava Sarase.
There were emerald staircases which led to lakes full of variously colored lotus flowers and lilies and swans, karandavas, chakravakas, cranes, and similar other valuable birds which were visible in those lakes. It appears that not only was the palace surrounded by compounds and gardens with varieties of trees, but there were small man-made lakes also, where the water was full of many colored lotus flowers and lilies. And to get down to the lakes, there were staircases made of valuable jewels, such as emeralds. So this is like really, really opulent. The staircase going to the lake is made of jewels such as emeralds. By the beautifully positioned garden houses, there were many luxuriant birds, such as swans, chakravakas, karandavas, and cranes. These birds generally do not live in filthy places like crows do. The atmosphere of the city was very healthy and beautiful. It can be simply imagined from its description. So even the birds were the pious birds. Swans, chakravakas, karandavas, and cranes. The because the place was so beautiful, the birds are also who like to live in beautiful places. Uttanapado Rajarishihi.
Utpanado Rajashihi
Prabhavam Tana Yasyatam
Prabhavam Tanayashyatam
Shrutva Drishva Bhutatma Bhutatamam
Shrutva
Drishtva Atmam
Prapede Vishmayam Param.
Prapede Vishmayam Param.
The saintly king Uttanapad, hearing of the glorious deeds of Dhruva Maharaj and personally seeing also how influential and great he was, felt very satisfied. For Dhruva's activities were wonderful to the supreme degree. When Dhruva Maharaj was in the forest executing his austerities, his father Uttanapad heard everything about his very wonderful activities. Although Dhruva Maharaj was the son of a king, and was only 5 years old, he went to the forest and executed devotional service under strict austerity. Therefore, his acts were all wonderful. And when he came back home, naturally, because of his spiritual qualifications, he became very popular amongst the citizens. He must have performed many wonderful activities by the grace of the Lord. No one is more satisfied than the father of a person who's credited with glorious activities. So Dhruva Maharaj, only 5 years old, so determined, performed austerities, was able to see the Lord face to face. Not only austerities, but executed devotional service. Because of devotional service, he was able to see the Lord face to face. Now he self-realized he's a Jivan Mukta. He's a pure devotee of the Lord. And so naturally, he's very attractive to everyone. As Krishna is very attractive to everyone, so is the pure devotee, because the pure devotee is carrying Krishna in his heart. So even the pure devotee is very attractive to everyone. Everyone wants to be with the pure devotee. And so Dhruva Maharaj is so famous now, although he's just 5 years old. He's still 5 years old. He's so famous, and his father is feeling so happy that, wow, what a position my son has reached, Mahārāja Uttanapad was not an ordinary king. He was a Raja Rishi, a saintly king. Formerly, this earth was ruled by one saintly king only. The kings were trained to become saintly. Therefore, they had no other concern than the welfare of the citizens. So Raja Rishi, not only a ordinary king, but a saintly king. The kings were trained to rule the people in such a way for the welfare of the people, not to just collect money and taxes and let everyone serve them. No, but they're really concerned, like a father is concerned for his children. So the king would be very concerned about the welfare of all the citizens, not only human beings, but also the animals. And before this planet was ruled by one king, not many kings. These saintly kings were properly trained, and as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, the science of God or the yoga system of devotional service known as Bhagavad Gita was spoken to the saintly king of the sun planet, and gradually it descended through the Kshatriya kings who were generated from the sun and the moon. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 2, I think, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarisho vidu, that this knowledge of devotional service is coming in the disciplic succession of the Rajarishi. In the parampara praptam, he's saying it's coming in the parampara of the Rajarishi. Krishna is saying, I first spoke this to sun god, and then sun god spoke to his son, to Manu. Manu spoke it to his son. That's how it came in the human society. If the head of the government is saintly, certainly the citizens become saintly, and they are very happy because both their spiritual and physical needs and hankerings are satisfied. So the leader, if the leader is saintly, if he's God conscious, automatically he'll rule the citizens in such a way that they will be happy, they will also become God conscious, and they can live peacefully in this life. At the same time, cultivate spiritual knowledge. And this is what Bhagavatam is showing us. To lead a God conscious life, a life centered around God. So we can be peaceful and happy at the same time, cultivate spiritual knowledge, at the end of life, go back home, back to Godhead. Is that okay?
Yes.
Did anyone want to add or comment something? Oh, let's stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki